We already know how useful tracking changes can be when collaborating on documents with others. It allows us to see the changes, choose to accept or reject those changes, but what happens if someone takes a copy of your document and does not remember to turn on track changes, and they give you back their version of the document? Well, comparing the two documents could mean printing them out, highlighting areas, going into the original, making the adjustments, and so on. Could be very time consuming, but the good news is there's a very powerful feature built right into Word that will compare documents for you. Not only that, if you choose to combine the two documents, you can have that done by Microsoft Word as well. We're going to look at both features, very powerful yet rarely used. So we're going to start with a document called NO Recipes Original. Let's say our scenario is we have this document that we sent out to a couple of people for their review. They didn't turn on track changes, and now we need to compare those two documents. To do that, we go back to the Review tab and click Compare. There are two options here: compare two versions of a document called Legal Blackline, or combine revisions, could be from two or more authors into a single document. We're going to start with Compare. So we choose our original by clicking the drop down. There it is, NO Recipes Original. The revised document came from this person with the initials KL. So when we click that, we can see it's Karen Leslie actually. That's displayed automatically because she was logged into her Microsoft account when she made those changes. And now all we have to do is click OK. So what happens next is Word looks at the two documents, starts analyzing it for changes, and lists them here in the Revisions pane. Now, if you think it's getting a little crowded, you might want to close the navigation pane. Gives us a little more space. Here we can see the compared document. This is the combination of these two documents, which are displayed in tiles off to the right. So there's the original, there's the KL version, and we can scroll through each of those if we wanted to. Notice as we scroll, we're scrolling through all three panes at the same time. So we can see the changes, but we can also see them listed over here on the left. You can see where Karen made some formatting changes. And if we want to, we can click those to go directly to those spots right in the document itself. Change thanks to thank you, for example. So the neat thing is we have the ability to review all of these, and we can even use our accept and reject buttons to accept or reject those changes, just like we would if track changes had been turned on. So that's a very cool feature, very powerful here in Microsoft Word. Eventually what we might do is simply save this compared document after we've accepted or rejected changes, and that would be our final. All right, let's just close it up though. Click the close button for the compared document. We'll even close the revisions pane, and we'll go up to the File tab now and click Close to close up any documents we might have open. This is the Compare Result 1. No need to save it at this point. We're back to our original. Now the other option is to combine documents, and in most cases this is very useful when there are two or more reviewers who have made changes to documents. So at the same time as comparing them, we can combine them into one. So let's do that. Let's go back to our Review tab here, click Compare, and select Combine. Now again, we're going to choose two documents, the original and the revised. And then from there we can use the revised document and a second revised document by repeating this process for every one of the reviewers. So we'll click the drop down for the original. We'll click the drop down for the edited version or revised. There it is from Karen Leslie. And when we click OK, similar to comparing the documents, we're now going to see some of the changes that were made over here on the right-hand side. What's being created in front of us is a brand new document, which is a combination of the original and the changed document. So as we scroll through this, we see those changes. If you prefer, you can use previous and next to go from one to the next, just as if track changes had been turned on. And again, we can choose to accept or reject those changes. If we click the drop down to accept all changes, we now have a newly revised document, document 4, that we could save and then combine with another document that had revisions. And in the end, what we end up with is a combined document from two or more reviewers. These are two very powerful features you should try out anytime you run into that scenario where you have multiple versions of a document and track changes were not used.